much for sharing with us. Our next speaker is Christian Smith, who has a company called Phone Halo. And I would just like to say that I found Christian through LinkedIn. Somebody told me about him. They said, hey, you might want to get this guy for your speaker series. And I went to LinkedIn, and it turns out that I have a friend from high school who is his uncle. I didn't know that, but so I got introduced on LinkedIn. So I want to let you guys know that those social networking websites are real and have real world applications. So Christian, I'm going to turn it over to you, and I'm looking forward to hearing about Phone Halo.
Cool, thanks. How are you guys doing this afternoon?
Great.
Cool, yeah, glad you guys are all here. It's really fun to see people that are excited and wanting to learn more, wanting to learn how to improve themselves and kind of make your ideas a reality, make your dreams a reality. That's kind of, for me, what entrepreneurship has been all about, is what can I think up that's going to change the world and make everyone's lives better? And how can I benefit society? How can I build a business that's going to, give our janitor his kid's college tuition? Or, just like thinking on those lines, thinking big, and just dreaming big too. So a little bit about me. I'm a mechanical engineer. I graduated from UCSB, and this is a picture of me with my senior project team. We made this really awesome sensor, and it was a wave height sensor. And if you see the diver at the bottom of that right-hand picture, they're going and actually installing one of these sensors out in the Channel Islands, and geologists were using these sensors to gather data of how big are the waves that are coming into nearshore ecosystems. So they were doing, is the ocean height rising and all that. But long story short, this is where I really got to cut my teeth on programming and electronics and actually how to solve problems in the real world by building a little circuit board. And we have circuit boards on just about everything, right? Each of us probably have 4 or 5 circuit boards: our iPod, our phone, our computer, our watch. There's a lot of computing power that we're actually physically wearing. And after that, I got excited about electronics, so went and worked at an electronics company and managed a production line there. So that was in 2009, or in 2008 is when I graduated, and then I worked for a year and launched a company called Profound. We started at the technology management program at UCSB, and we won the business plan competition there. But the year before that, we completely failed, and we lost the business plan competition. We didn't make it to the semifinals. But then that summer, the iPhone App Store came out, and we said, hey, you want to use your phone to track your keys? Well, now you can actually do it because it's an app. But before apps, nobody realized what we were doing. So we got some cash, and we moved into a garage, naturally, right?
Of course.
So, we had this idea, right? But what's the value of an idea?
Nothing unless you can register other people for it.
Exactly. Yeah. The value of idea is big, huge goose egg. You can have the best idea in the world, but unless you do something with it, it isn't worth anything. It's all about, one word, execution. How well you can take that idea and make it real. And so that's what we sought out to do. I quit my job, right? This is in a down economy, right after the crash in 2008. Nobody had jobs. Unemployment was at 13%. And I told my boss, I'm quitting. I'm going to go start a company. And he kind of looked at me like I was crazy, but we wrapped things up over about a period of a month, and we all moved into a house. And this house had oh man, I'm not changing slides. All right, this house had a garage, and this is us in the garage, right? We set up all of our workstation where we're soldering all the electronics together, writing all of the smartphone code, and I was making that little mechanical design for a little keychain, a little Bluetooth keychain that would attach to your keys, bag, whatever, and an app running on your phone would watch that device. And so if they became separated, you leave one behind, both ring. So I can show you a little bit of an advanced version of that demo today. So this is my Cobra Tag sensor. When I press this button, my phone is going to ring. And say I can't find my keys in the morning, like this morning, right? I press the button on the app, and it beeps the fob. And that same alert happens when you leave either one behind, and then we remember where on a Google map you left that item, and then we email or text that information to you. So you always know where you leave your stuff. So that's the idea. What was that?
What's the range on that?
Bluetooth. So 30 feet. Yeah. So then after kind of building this prototype version that you see here, we went to CES, which is the big consumer electronics trade show. And we went to go and show the world what we've done. We got to talk to so many people. I think that was the biggest thing. After executing, you have to test right away. And it's important to take very little steps towards your goal and then test very frequently. So that's one thing that's really helped us succeed, is going and testing, right? We talked to buyers, we talked to RIM, we talked to Motorola, we talked to, Sky Mall, and we said, here's what it does, here's the demo, do you like it? And they said yes. And then they also told us some other stuff, but I'll get to that in a second. But basically, we didn't know how to sell. That was the bottom line. We didn't know how to tell the story. So at this phase, we learned two really important rules. Sell, then build. Never build, then sell. Because we got it wrong. And then the second thing that we learned is, in a small company, there's one thing that solves all of your problems: sales. Sales solves all problems. Mm-hmm. So after getting some traction at CES, we got a Wall Street Journal article on their blog. And so we knew we had a concept that people were interested in. So we launched it demo in 2010, and we won the Demo God Award, which was very, very exciting. We were up against about 10 other huge consumer electronics companies with $10 million in funding. We basically scraped by on about $150,000 of friends and family cash, and we stole the show. So after demo, after the Wall Street Journal paper edition, we started getting orders from customers. And so we started shipping the little phone Halo version down there. Can you guys all see the screen?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we sold nearly 1,000 units on the web and on Amazon. And the funny thing is we could sell online, but we could never sell in stores. Store buyers looked at the device, and they kind of shook their heads. They're like, yeah, I really like the concept, and it's great, but I just don't think it'll work. And we couldn't find out why. But retail buyers have the hardest job, one of the hardest jobs in the US. They have the highest turnover rate, right? If they pick one bad product, they're fired. That Best Buy buyer who stocks all the Bluetooth headsets, if he picks a headset that is new, inventive, cool, but nobody buys it, his job's on the line, and he gets fired. So we took that feedback, and we said, all right, we need to make it pretty. So in 2011, in January, we launched the Cobra Tag. Cobra Tag, we completely redesigned the inside and outside and the software. We made the software look a lot cleaner. We focused more on the Android platform, which was starting to grow quite a bit at that time. And yeah, we had a really viable product at this point. So we also made this shift in 2011 where we changed our business model, because previously our model was you buy the hardware from us and then we buy it from the manufacturer, right? So manufacturer, phone Halo, and then we sell it to the customers or to the retail stores. But now we decided that's really hard, right? We saw that if you go and you have to take, you can only have 10% of your working capital deployed at one time in inventory. Because if you, from a cash flow perspective, it's just very difficult to warehouse physical products because you have to buy all of it.
2-minute warning.
Okay. So we started deploying a phone halo platform that we would brand for OEM customers. Cobra Electronics is a publicly traded company. We licensed out the technology to them, and then they're taking it to market. They have the relationship with Best Buy, QVC, Amazon, and they know how to sell products. So we thought, let's focus on making good products, which we're good at, and let's give the product to someone else whose focus is going and taking products through retail. So I think the other big thing that we learned in 2011 was market research, customer feedback is so important. It'll take you to the right product at the right price. And then also, focus is about saying no. Steve Jobs said that, and it's such a good quote because at this point in time, I remember making the choice, do I have friends or do I have a company? And it's a hard choice. It's not easy. I'm the oldest of 7 kids. Like, I don't get to hang out with my brothers and sisters as much as I'd like. I don't get to have as many friendships as I like. But I made the choice to work 12 hours a day for the 6 days a week for the past 3 years. And now we're shipping products to some of the world's biggest publicly traded companies. And they're going to be pushing all of these devices out. So if you think about a real value proposition now, when you want to find information, where do you go? You look at Google. Say there's that classmate that you want to catch up with. Where do you go? Facebook. Maybe the professional world will go to LinkedIn. But now we see there's no solution, simple software solution to finding your valuables. So we've really tried to say, okay, where are things going? Things are going in a direction where there's going to be computing power on everything. My keys are going to talk to my phone. My bag is going to talk to my laptop. And all of these things are going to start talking to each other. So we're really excited to be putting out a platform that's going to facilitate all of those conversations. And yeah, we work in town, and we're always looking for more communications, marketing interns, as well as anybody who's interested in engineering or kind of business management. So if you're interested getting some experience, come up to me afterwards and get my card. Thanks so much.
Great. I can't wait to hear the police blotter of like things that are going to happen with Phone Halo finding some of these things, where they're going to end up. So
yeah, there was a good story about that this past week where somebody stole this guy's iPad, and the guy goes and uses Mobile Me to track it down, and then the police go to his house and they find that this guy had robbed over 30 cars, and he had a bunch of laptops and cameras and things like that. So I think the more that we can connect everything, the more we're going to be able to secure everything.
yeah, that's awesome. That's